I am back with a new photo walk video for you. This was supposed to be a snowy photo walk, and it partially is. Mother Nature didn't cooperate as she was supposed to. We were supposed to get up to a foot of snow just a couple days ago, and our area here only got about an inch or two. Rather disappointing. Some parts of Pennsylvania did get over a foot. The storm shifted, we got just about an inch or two. And it's melting rapidly in the sun and the 40-degree temps. So I'm here on a chilly morning. It's in the upper 20s. And we're on the Luzerne County Rail Trail. Behind me is a semi-active rail line. And the rail trail's right here. This is the same rail trail that will take us to the Knox mine disaster site that I've covered on my main channel a few different times. So we're going to walk the trail here. It's still shady. There's still some snow. And we'll see what kind of photo opportunities we could capture. I am shooting on my Nikon D5600 with my 18 to 140 millimeter lens. So if you're ready, grab your camera and let's capture some moments. I'm going to be shooting on aperture priority. I do want to control the depth of field of my photos. And I do want to state that photographing snowy scenes or really bright scenes can be rather tricky when it comes to exposure because, for example, if you expose correctly for the snow, most likely the overall image is going to be dark because the snow is brighter than everything else. So it's going to bring the exposure down to compensate for the brightness. If you try to expose for the overall landscape, most likely the snow will be too bright and washed out. So depending on the look you're going for, you may want to make sure you have the proper settings in your camera, and you most likely have to do some post-editing tweaks afterwards to get the exposure corrected as close as you can. So I'm not going to be super concerned about having the snow exposed correctly. We already know there's snow here and it's going to be really bright. So we'll just see what we could do to make it work. The first thing I want to do though is come up here through this broken fence here. And I know this line is not super active, maybe a handful of times a month. I'm not going to stand in the gauge, but I do want to get a shot of the tracks going around the bend here. So I'm going to zoom in partially, focus down the distance, and we'll try that photo there. And one more I could do is a very similar shot. Come down here on the rail. Again, focus in the distance. Right here we have a nice straightaway shot. There is a gentleman down there walking with his dog. And I want to do two different shots. I want to do a wide scene here, just showing you what's on both sides looking straight down. And I'm also going to zoom in on this one. Get the individual down there in focus. That one looks a little too dark. I'm going to raise the exposure compensation a little bit. There, it looks a bit better. I walked over here. What I'm looking for is, got this tree right in front of us that has a split. I'm wishing this wasn't here, but I can't control that. But through this, there's another little tree with some dead leaves on it, which are yellow, brownish color, and they're rather striking compared to the snow. They're standing out quite vibrantly. So I want to get a picture of those leaves through this tree here. So I'm going to try to just get some of these branches out of the way. And I'm going to focus on the leaves, have the branches to the tree as my border. I'll try that. Looking a little too dark. I'm going to try one more shot with exposure raised up. All right, I think that'll work. One shot I often enjoy taking, I've taken it before, is looking up through the trees with the sun being silhouetted by part of the tree. So I have a grouping of trees here, and I do have the sun blocked out by part of this tree. So I'm going to focus. All right, and there's my shot. What I like to do next is to get an actual detailed shot of the snow on a part of the tree. We do have a downed tree here, and there's still some snow on top of it. Now I have two ways of going about this. I could either stand at a distance, zoom in, and get a nice, clear, crisp, focused shot with the blurred background. Or I could get really close to it, go on the widest angle of 18 millimeters, focus that, raise up my aperture, and have more things in focus in the background. I think I'm going to experiment with both shots. I'm going to stand here for now, get part of that snow on the tree, and we'll see how that looks. All right, that's our first shot. Now we're going to get really close to it and replicate that shot, and we'll see which one appears a bit better. I'm going to raise up my aperture to around, let's do 13. I'm going to climb a little bit here. So here we are, nice and close. I'm going to focus on that snow. All right, so with that shot, the snow is definitely in focus and exposed correctly. Background is pretty dark, as expected because of the exposure for the brightness of the snow. We do have another nice long straightaway, so for this shot, I want to stay here right on the trail. I'm going to crouch down close to the ground, and I'm going to use my flip out lens to be able to see what I'm doing. And I'm going to do two shots here. I'm going to do a really wide shot in portrait mode. I'm actually going to focus closer to where I am, so the background's a bit more blurred out in the distance. I'm going to take that shot one more time. I'm going to zoom all the way in, zoom in, focus in the distance, and take that photo. So two different shots from the same location, same perspective, but completely different looks based on zoomed in, zoomed out, and where you're focusing. The next shot I'd like to try to get here is still in relation to the long straightaway here, but instead of focusing on the trail, I want to utilize the fence. So I'm going to come up here past these branches that are standing up so you get more of a clear view, and I want to put the camera, I'm going to experiment either on top of the fence or next to it and see what kind of shots we could get. So right here, basically hovering right on top of the fence, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, focus in the distance. I'm going to try that. I want to bring up the exposure, and I want to raise my aperture a bit more too. I'm going to put the aperture to 16. There, that actually came out 10 times better by raising the exposure and the aperture. Now I'm going to try to do that shot again, but I'm going to go next to the fence here instead of on top of it. Focus in the distance. Alright, I think I like the first shot better. Like I said before, not all photos are winners. There's plenty that I take that don't work out as I would like them to, and typically don't make it into the video. Found this little snowy trail off the side of the rail trail. Just want to walk it for a little bit, see what it's like, see if there's any opportunities. I do see some posted signs further up, so let's see if we can make something work with what we have right here. I'm going to go portrait mode. All right, Not a bad shot, but I want to see if I could do better. I want to utilize this tree here. So what I want to do is focus on the tree, recompose, and take that shot. Not liking how that looks. I'm going to try one more time. Again, focusing on the tree right in front of me, recomposing. And there, now we got the tree as the main focus, showing that's alongside this trail going uphill. Off to my left here is a rock face, and on the edges of it is a combination of snow and patches of what I like to call nature's carpet. None other than moss. But the green and the white offers a nice color combination. So I want to get a little bit closer and see if I get a couple shots of that. Make that be the main focus of the image. So I'm going to do one from a distance here. Let's see, I'll keep it landscape. I'm going to bring down my exposure a little bit. Going to focus right in the middle, and I'll try that shot. All right, that one's not too bad. I'm going to get a bit closer and get a different angle. Okay, so right here, it's going, excuse me, upwards. So I'm going to focus on something closer to me, and that way we'll see the rest of it, but it's going to be a bit blurred out. Get this branch out of the way. So I'll focus right there, recompose. Yeah, that's actually a really nice shot. I'm gonna do one more, get this leaf out of here. Get a bit more of the snow right here. Recompose. Yeah, I think that's actually some of my favorite shots I'm capturing here today. I'm gonna do one more over here with this tree root surrounded by the moss and the snow. I'm gonna lower down my aperture. Yeah, gorgeous little spot here. And honestly, I could take probably 10 more photos if I wanted to. Different angles, different focal lengths, different depths of field. But you get the gist of it. Found another photo opportunity off to my left here. Another rocky face, moss and snow, but this time icicles. So I'm going to try to get a couple shots of these icicles here. Or as I like to call them, nature's frozen tears. I'm going to keep it on wide. Portrait to get the length of it. And there's one shot. You get a close-up one here of them coming out of the moss. Now this one, I'm going to focus on the one in the distance, but show the one in the foreground. So just recomposing that shot. There. I've got a few different icicle shots. Oh, here's one more. It's right in front of me here. It looks like a nice one. And one more of the carpet in the snow. Can't help myself here. Further down the trail here and came upon some flags. That's because off to the left is the site of the Eagle Air Shaft. This is where men escaped during the Knox mine disaster. Now, if you're not familiar with that disaster, or if you want to learn more about it, I did do some videos on it on my main channel. I'll link those down below in the description. But right now I want to focus on the flags here, which is going to be a nice color pop compared to the rest of the landscape, especially the blues and the reds. So I'm going to zoom in to get them both in the frame to fill the frame up. I'm going to focus on the one, recompose to get them both in the shot, And there's my photo right there. I'm going to actually raise the exposure a bit. Not too happy with how that one turned out. All right. I'm going to do one more shot a bit closer. I'm going to get some of the stars as the main feature here. And then we're going to be able to have some blurriness in the background. Again, I want to make that a bit brighter. All right. I want to replicate a shot I took earlier, but this time the ground is a bit different. Mostly snow covered. There's one bare exposed trail here leading all the way down. So I'm going to stay standing up. I'm going to zoom in partially. I'm going to bring my aperture all the way down. Focus in the distance. And there's my shot. Nice leading shot with the line going all the way down. I'm going to take that same shot close to the ground now. And I'm going to do two different shots. I'm going to do focusing right here in the foreground. Recompose. Then I'm going to take another shot, focus in the distance, recompose. And there's my two shots. Right now I'd like to share with you my MFSOTD, my favorite shot or shots of the day. Today I did take a total of 42 shots, and obviously you didn't see 42 photos. As we've learned, I do take a lot of photos and only share the best of the best. A lot of them were just not properly exposed, not properly focused, not good composition, or just something I didn't feel was photo worthy to make it to the video. So that's why I say it's always good to get out and practice. Take as many shots as you need to. Typically, for every 2 to 3 shots, you could get one usable one out of those ones. Feel free to let me know your favorite shots as well, and hopefully you enjoyed this somewhat wintry, snowy photo walk here in Northeast Pennsylvania along the Luzerne County Rail Trail. And remember, I'll see you behind the camera real soon. Thanks for watching.